Well, welcome everybody after lunch. Hopefully you don't get an after lunch dip, because I'm going to talk about something really exciting, automatic usability testing. And maybe it's less exciting than before ChatGPT, but okay. This is what I'm going to talk about in the next 30 to 40 minutes. Of course, first I'm going to introduce myself. Afterwards, what is the problem with usability testing? The solution, and I won the RisingSTAR award from EuroSTAR last year with this idea. So in the last year, I've tried to make this tool possible. So I will tell you about what happened the last year, the challenges I faced along the way, and also achievements I made, and the next steps, because it's not done. So let's dive into it. First, about me. I hope you can read it. I was talking yesterday to some speakers at the speaker dinner, and they were talking about all the slides with bullet points. And I thought, I have some bullet points. Let's make a picture. So I made this this morning. So it's not perfect, but let me take you through my timeline. I was actually born in Suriname. Who knows where Suriname lies? Oh, okay, some people. It is in South America, so it's above Brazil, between the two Guyanas. And Suriname was a colony of the Netherlands, so my mother also lived in the Netherlands when she was young, and we moved to the Netherlands in 2002. I studied artificial intelligence. Afterwards, that was too much technical robotics for me. I wanted to know the human side of the machines and how to interact with them. So I did a master human media interaction. And then I started to work at Capgemini, where I still work, so since 2014. First, I was a software tester the first 6 to 7 years of my career. And then I moved to UX. So now I'm actually a UX researcher, UX designer. But in my career as a software tester, I focused on usability testing, accessibility testing. So it was a logical step for me to go more into UX and really talk to the users and understand them better. And then last year I handed in the idea. It was a YOLO moment. There was does everybody know EuroSTAR? Who doesn't know EuroSTAR? Okay. It's the biggest software testing conference in Europe, and they have conferences twice a year. So they have EuroSTAR Automation Star. And the RisingSTAR Award is an award for young testers in the beginning of their career to really motivate them, instead of at the end of your career having a prize of best tester. So it's really to motivate them. And what I won is 20 software testers who were mentoring me for 1 year, and also 1,000 euros to start the project. I also added that picture of the QA testing, usability testing, and UX research, because that's a training I did once where all my expertises are in one picture. So that's the ladder I climbed, or the choices I made. Okay, so let's dive into it. Okay, so testing. As testers, we have to do a lot of things. And these are the software product quality attributes. So not only functional testing, but also all these other things, like security, which we already heard about today, performance, usability, maintainability. And I noticed in my career as a tester that people or testers don't really focus on usability testing a lot. And I understand that, because we have to do a lot of things and we cannot do everything. So the most focus was on functional testing. And then there are sometimes teams outside of your Scrum team who do the performance testing or the security testing, in my experience. But usability somehow always got forgotten. And if you do have a usability finding, your product owner might say, oh, that's a nice idea, but let's just focus on the functionality now, and the usability will come. We'll do it. It's nice to have. After we're in production, we'll fix it. But of course, the day never comes, and it's always on the nice to have, and it disappears from the backlog. So that was really frustrating to me, because of course I have this this education in user-centered design, and knowing that it's the user we're developing our products for. So why are we only focusing on functionality and not on how the user receives it, and if they can even use the product? Because you can have perfectly good working functionality, but if the user doesn't understand it, then yeah, this can still not complete their goal on your website. So this is one of the pictures I always see at all the UX conferences and use myself. Yeah, the people around you might have an idea of, hey, oh, this is how it's supposed to work. Yeah, it looks awesome. It looks great. Yay, we did it. High five. And the user is like, what is this? What am I supposed to do? So this illustrates the importance of UX really nicely. And also, we all, I think some of you might have heard this already, that fixing bugs after something is already in production is more expensive than when you do it right in the first place. So that's why I want to shift UX testing to left to the development phase, and not only the pre-development phase, because of course, most of the time, when the product is developed, there is already UX design done, there is a design ready, and the developers go make it. But in my experience as well, when it's at the development phase, the UXers are not always there to be there with the development and have the discussions, and there can be trade-offs. Developers can say, hey, this is quite difficult, we can do the same thing differently, and then things go the other way. So I think it's our responsibility as testers, as a former tester, to also take UX into account and not only leave it for the UX designers or I don't know who. Okay, so this is what I noticed in my career. Usability is so not tested in a structured manner, and testers love structure. We love checklists. We love to know, okay, this is the problem. How are we going to test it and make a plan? You know, if of course, you can do exploratory testing, but that you're not sure if you have done anything. So exploratory testing is mostly extra. There's not always UX expertise present. Also, that's also what I had in my experience. Agile testers are always in a time squeeze. We have to do the two-week sprint. You have so many things to do in the sprint for testing that you don't have time for too much, so you need to plan it. Focus on automated testing. Everybody loves test automation nowadays. It's all we talk about. And UX testing usually is not automated. And what I've already mentioned, UX findings are not always prioritized by the business. So with these, how do you say it? These questions in mind, I went to the testers and I asked them, is this true? Because these are actually my experiences. Is it true? So these are some questions that were in the survey. And I also, at EuroSTAR, I think last year, I sent out the survey as well, and I got a lot of responses. So testers from all over the world filled in this survey. These were some of the questions. How do you test UX? Why don't you test UX if you don't test it? What test education do you have? Do you have ISTQB, like Kari told us this morning? Or do you have other education, other certificates, or maybe no certificate at all? No. And was UX testing covered in your test education? And the last but not least, the question, if there was a tool to help you test UX, would you use it? Well, I will take you through some of these questions, not all of them, of course, because we don't have all the time. But about half of the testers do test usability. And I really like that, because I thought that testers don't really know a lot about usability. And I thought I was biased because I have this education in UX. But there are some testers who test it. So almost half of them do test it. But there was, 48% that do not test the usability, or not always. So why don't they test the usability? Well, as you can see, 42% UX is not a priority to the business. And this is, of course, also one of the things I thought, but it's a really big percentage. So this is something that you cannot really fix with a tool. It's something that has to change in the mindset as well of the business, of course. Well, of course, the green one, 17%, testing backend, no GUI. Yeah, of course, then you don't have the front-end testing. 25%, I don't, or my team doesn't know how to test usability. So that I can help you with. I can teach you how to test usability. And we don't have the time, that's 8%. Yeah, I can also relate to that. So we want to do it really fast. And we have a dedicated UX team, so it was never required from us. Okay, so this is a sum up again. So these are the bottlenecks we just discussed, and these are what I already told you about the percentages. but I have only 8% has a dedicated UX team. Okay. The next question was: do you struggle with testing UX? Can you use some help with it? Well, as you can see, 36% says yes, and 29% says maybe. So 65% could use some help with it. They struggle with it. Test trading does not cover usability enough. 67% said no. That's true. Yes and no. But they said it doesn't cover usability testing enough. So, and then I asked them, what is your certificate? And that's not in this. Let me see. Test training does not cover usability testing enough. Oh yeah, I asked them how many years of experiences they have, yeah. Then you can also see what training they have, and here you can see that if they have 0 to 1 year of experience, what is this again? Testing does not cover usability. I don't even remember this one, but I matched two different types of data with each other, and you can see that, oh yeah, a lot of people say no. It doesn't matter if what their experience is or their level of education. You can see that the no bars are very high. So they say that their training doesn't cover usability testing enough. It doesn't matter how much years of experience they have and what certificate they have. And 10 years and above is very high. So there's a new usability testing certificate training with ISTQB that's quite new. So I can imagine that people who have more than 10 years of experience didn't have the training, and people who now just started testing do have a certificate and know more about UX testing. So that's really a good development. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so how do testers test UX? Yeah, mostly exploratory. They use it as a user would. And that's fine, but it depends on the tester, of course. What experience do you have? What do you miss? So it would be nice if there was one way, one structured way where all testers test how all testers test usability. And last but not least, if there was a tool, would you use it? Yeah, only 3 people said no. So I think they are happy if there was a tool. And this is the solution. It has a new name since the last time I gave the presentation, the Ladybug. So automatic usability, UX testing. And maybe I use the term usability and UX interchangeably in this presentation, but I see usability as a part of UX. So usability is smarter than UX because you also have, for example, accessibility, which is also part of UX. And I want to make this tool not only for usability testing, but I want to start with usability testing, and you will see why. But later on, we can expand the tool with more than just usability, more UX techniques. Okay, let me take a sip. Okay, so the UX tester should speed up the UX testing process because we don't have a lot of time. It should help testers, should inform testers on how to test usability because they don't know how. That's what they indicated in the survey. It should help testers to clearly communicate their findings, because I think that when testers go to the business and they say, hey, I found a bug, could it be more simple for the user? The business would say, yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll look at it. But if you can say, hey, according to this heuristic of UX, this and this and this is how they do it, how you should do it, then the business sees why it's better. And that can help testers to articulate their findings better. And it should be easy to use and accessible for everyone. Well, this is a design that I made together with some of my colleagues at Capgemini. It should be a tool that is accessible for everyone to use. And that's why we chose for it to be a tool like this, where you can enter an URL of any given website and get feedback, just like accessibility testing tools do it, but now with the focus on usability. We have also thought about adding it to a library in your test automation, but that would not be accessible to everybody. And because the business is also such an important factor in this problem, we want the business to be able to use this tool as well. So yeah, it's not, I don't know if it's a perfect solution, but this is what we came up with now. And it will be tested structuredly according to Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics. Because these usability heuristics are very well known in the field of UX. They have been there since the 1990s, and they still apply to applications, to software we make. There are 10 rules of thumb, and you can find countless examples which can inform you on how it works. Let's just dive into one of them. So into some of them. So how can these heuristics be automated? So for example, the first one is visibility of system status. So that is something simple like a spinner or a loader. When you clicked on a button and you're wondering, is something happening or not? There should be an indication, a clear indication that something is happening. It's something simple as that. And you can't imagine how often I don't see the spinner. It's the first heuristic in the line. So this is something really simple that we can automate. It has challenges. So you can automate, hey, is there something, an element on a page that is called a spinner or called a loader? But the downside is, if you call it something else in your own language, then you cannot find it. So this is something that maybe AI, the magic word, can help us fix. But I can't imagine that it's not possible to find these components on a web page. Okay, stepper or snack bar are also examples, but I'll go quicker. The match between system and the real world is the second one. This is a website in Dutch, is het B1, and that's a level of language proficiency you're in. So there's a website where you can just ask a word, is this B1? Is this a word that people who don't have a very high education still understand? And this is something we can use as an API, I think I have it, yeah, that you can just connect to our application, and it can check if the words you use in your content of your website, if it's clear to everybody, or are you using too difficult words? Because that's also something in UX and usability. Keep it simple. Don't use jargon or in complicated language. Everybody should be able to understand. Depends on the application, of course. User control and freedom. Yeah, I love this example of Gmail, that a few years ago, suddenly you had this bar when you sent a message, you forgot to add the attachments. You can press undo and you can add them, because who hasn't seen that you forgot the attachment? So this gives the user control, and yeah, this is something that you can test automatically easy. Every pop-up has, for every pop, maybe not for this special case, but you could automatically test if somebody wants to delete something, for example, that you have a pop-up and say, hey, yes or no, do you want to delete this? And an undo, that you always have two buttons when you have a button, an action button, that you can also go back and undo it. So this is where the ladybug comes in. I don't know why I didn't have it with the previous one, but yeah, each dialog should have a cancel button. So some things can be tested automatically. Consistency and standards. Yeah, that's also a UX thing. You have, you don't use too many fonts and too many colors in your website. You usually have, in this case, in the buttons, you have a primary button and secondary button, and then tertiary button, and keep it at that. You know, don't make different combinations. Then the primary button is red, then the primary button is blue, then it is yellow. Just keep the same standards everywhere across your entire web page. And this you can also test automatically. But yeah, of course, you can search for all primary buttons on the web page and check if they have the same styling. Standard placing of icons, yeah, that's also the home button is usually in the left upper corner, and the shopping cart is usually in the right upper corner. So it's not that the tool would say, no, it's wrong. It would just advise you, hey, I see you put the button somewhere else. This is the standard. See if you have a good reason to place it somewhere else. So this can also be tested automatically with a ladybug. Error prevention. Yes, this is when you, the example I already gave, are you sure you want to delete the button, the project or something in the list you wanted to delete? You can also look at how do you ask the question. Here it says, are you sure you will not be able to recover this project? You make it really scary. And in UX, it's like, okay, tell the person what will happen. If you do this, that will happen. So they know, if I click yes, this will happen. And not yes, if I click delete. So put the right label on the button as well. So these are also things that you can, that the ladybug can help you with. Do you have the right text on the buttons? Recognition rather than recall. This is also really simple one. When you type in your postal code, your zip code, you have usually two blocks that you only, or maybe a phone number is a better example. A phone number, you only want to use numbers and not letters. So when you're on a mobile application or website, you want it, when you press when you want to fill in a field, a phone number field, you want only a numeric keyboard. And the ladybug can, of course, help you with this, because it knows what happens when you press that field. Well, thanks to the supporters, I also got in contact with Philip from the University of Malta, and he is investigating the aesthetic evaluation of websites, so we can work together as well, because he gives a number, like the aesthetics of your website. Is everything cluttered in the middle, or is it neatly distributed across the page? Calculates a lot of things. We can work together to cover this heuristic as well. The help user recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting one, because I didn't know this before I really dived into the heuristics. It's really simple. When you have a 404 page, don't only say 404 error. Tell them what's wrong, that something's wrong, what went wrong, and how they can resolve it. So now, not how they can resolve this problem, but how they can get out of the situation. So give them a link. So some websites say, hey, I see you stumbled across a page that doesn't exist. Maybe you want to look at this. So just give them a way out, because then they're stuck and they don't know what to do. And this is also really simple. Ladybug can check, hey, is there a link in the content of this 404 page? So not in the menu, but really in the content of the page. No link, then they can give advice. So there's no link on the 404 page. Help users navigate away from this page. So as you can see with this idea, the bottlenecks are each met. So it's structured according to the 10 usability heuristics. It teaches how to test UX with these heuristics. Of course, there are more ways, but this is one way to start. It saves time because it's automated. It's automated. And it helps articulate the problem, because you can tell the business why this is a problem. So I think I really believe in this tool. But of course, there are also challenges. Heuristics, there are rules of thumb. And this is what I got back from the supporters from the RisingSTAR. Are you sure this is the way? Do you want to automate heuristics? And it's true, they are rules of thumb. Actually, they're not meant to be automated, because it's something that that is because of experience. So for example, if you see 10 white swans, you say, okay, all swans are white. The black swans don't exist. But you don't know if it's true. It's only according to your experience. So that in that light, you can also see these heuristics. But actually, I still believe in the idea. It's a way to start a discussion and to help testers articulate the problems, do it faster. And we can, if we find some other way to automate it, that's fine. But I think this is a really good start to inform testers and teach them more about UX. Yeah, and I actually already covered this. Also, what I learned in my research of is this a good way? Heuristic evaluation is something that is actually done by a team of UXers. So it's not only you that you do a checklist and say, hey, these heuristics, this is good, this is right, this is good or bad. But there are 5 or more UXers who each do it individually, and then they come together and they discuss. So yeah, if the heuristics are not really then meant for this automation as in this scenario, but still, I think it's easy for me. I think it's still possible. But yeah, I think these heuristics are so long, since 1990. In the examples I just gave you, we can understand it better. We can talk about it. And that's why I think we can still use this as a good starting point. Artificial intelligence, what I also mentioned in the beginning, I think artificial intelligence can really help us improve the tool. Because the biggest problem with using AI before ChatGPT was you need a lot of classified websites who are classified as good UX, which you can use as input. So what AI would do is say, okay, what AI would do to help us is say, okay, this is a good website, this is a good website, this is a good website, and then point you, when you are putting your website in the tool, it would say, hey, according to these other websites, they use this and this and this, that this is what the other websites look. So your website looks like that, so it's good, or your website doesn't look like that and it's bad. So that would make it easier. But the problem was, how would I find so many websites? You need thousands and thousands of websites. Who is going to do that? But this idea was before the AI revolution of the last couple of months. So maybe now we can also use AI, but we need the expertise. So if there are any AI expertise experts here, you're welcome to join the project, because it's not done yet. So what did I do the last year? As I already told you, there were 20 supporters. I even did the RST course, which Michael Bolton and James Bach asked me to join. 101 respondents to the questionnaire I was talking about. I wrote 2 blogs about the progress, which you can find on EuroSTAR. And I made important connections. So Miko Lutasari from Know It Innovation Zone said that they were, they wanted to help. And Know It Innovation Zone is a company for free capacity that offers free capacity for innovation. So that was really awesome if they could help. So we already started an open source project. We just need to find the time to really make the user stories. You know, how do we start? And for me, that's really, really hard because I'm not the most technical person. I just started this idea and I really need people to help me proceed. There's also a guy, Kartik from India, who made a tool, an accessibility testing tool. And yeah, he also wants to help, so that's really cool. And as I told you, Philip Paul Grima as well. Okay, so next steps. I really want to make it concrete now. Will Know It Innovation Zone help? And let's just make a new appointment to dive into it and make the user stories. I already made an open source project on GitHub. So if people want to join with testing, with development, you're welcome. And yeah, I think this is my presentation. Thank you. Am I still on time?
Yeah, perfect timing. Thank you very much. Yeah, timing. So if we have any questions, I hope you have. We have Slido and even a mic. So you either send it via Slido, just scan the code, or is there a question in the audience? Are you brave enough to ask a question? No? Okay, there are no questions in Slido yet. Go, questions. Questions was very interesting. I'm going to ask a question, but be brave and go, what do you like better, UX design or testing?
It's a trick question. It's difficult. I really love both. I'm really happy that I'm now doing UX design, what I always wanted to do, and really talk to the users, do the usability testing, really talk to them. Because when I was a tester, I talked about usability testing a lot. I even gave a training on how to do it, but I actually never got to do it myself because we were so busy in the sprint. So I really like that. But I do like testers, actually, the people and these community, these events. That's what I really miss at in UX.
So thank you for the answer. And here is a full place, the Congress Hall full of testers. So enjoy.
Yeah.
So question, no more questions. Yes, please. We have a mic coming to you.
So I would like to know, how far are you actually with the tool itself, and when do you expect it to come out as a proof of concept or in any way?
Yeah, good question. We started with a POC, proof of concept, and there was actually only one. We are in a group of testers, so we're not developers. So a colleague of mine started with finding a spinner or a loader on a page. So we got that. So you can find a spinner on a page. But I don't think that's really exciting because we do that every day when testing. Look for a page and find a spinner, right? But you don't want to find it on one page. You want to scan the entire website and check if there's a spinner. So that's another step we need to take. I don't know when we will be able to show something. In the year of the RisingSTAR, it ended in June. I took a break. I was like, oh, okay, the RisingSTAR pressure is over, but now the energy is coming again to really start it, really ask people. I also found somebody else in the Netherlands who's interested, so I hope he can help me and we can together make steps. So 2024, let's say next year, by the end of next year, we have something.
Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much, Kimberly.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
It's very nice.
What is it? Dank u wel. Dank u wel.
Thank you.